Hello, everybody, and welcome to Observations from the Fence Post. This is Robert. Today, I'm going to be talking about the comic book 10,000 Black Feathers, issue number 1. Now, this comic book is part of a larger universe, which is known as the Bone Orchard Mythos. In fact, this is the third story to begin in this particular mythos so far. So let's kind of delve in a little deeper. On writing duties, we have Jeff Lemire. Our artist is Andrea Sorrentino, and our colorist is Dave Stewart. So this is the cover. As you can see, feathers are going to play some sort of role in this story, and we have in one of the feathers what looks like a skull. So what is our story about? Well, this story, we have a woman named Trish. Trish is an author, and she is having some sort of dreams or visions or even hallucinations or some combination of the three. And this is causing her to want to go back to her childhood home in Hamilton, Canada. So what she does is she arranges for some book signings and then takes a little excursion back to Hamilton, Canada. And she goes to the home of her childhood friend, Jackie. And we are led to believe that Jackie is no longer with us because Jackie seems to be part of these dreams, visions, and hallucinations. Anyway, Trish goes to this childhood home and meets up with Jackie's mom, Terry. Terry, of course, hasn't seen her in a while and invites her in. And that's pretty much the gist of the story. Now, one neat thing that this does is it certainly begins to tell us, being the first issue, the story of Trish as an adult. But then it flashbacks to scenes of her and her friend Jackie as kids. And when it does that, it does a color shift change. Here, I'll kind of show you. Okay, so this is the modern colorization. It's more darker, just like the previous Bone Orchard stories. But when we get to the part about when they are kids, you can see the color is bright, vivid, and lighter. And so that's a nice contrast. This is the first time I've seen that in the Bone Orchard saga so far. So this is kind of exciting. So this obviously being the first issue is a big setup issue, of course, being the first issue. And let's see, where do I think this is going? Well, I do believe we are going to find out what happened to Jackie. That seems pretty important. And it's my view that whatever Trish is experiencing, the dreams, visions, and hallucinations, that it is not actually Jackie, but some sort of entity, maybe mimicking Jackie for some reason. Of course, that's what we're going to have to find out. And that is, of course, why we continue to by the next issues in this ongoing saga. So one thing I liked, it did some really nice referencing of things in this issue. It makes a reference to author Ursula Le Guin, specifically her Earthsea and Left Hand of Darkness stories. It references Stephen King. In fact, that particular reference leads us to believe, if we look into it, that when we flash back to the girls when they're kids, it's somewhere around 1997. Because at that point, Jackie is reading Stephen King's The Dark Tower #4. Okay. And then it also makes reference to, the Dune saga, the Dune series. So there's some pretty neat references because Trish and Jackie bond over their love of books. In fact, what we learn is when they're girls, they make kind of this pact that they're going to do some work together. Okay, so that's kind of what the story is and issue number 1 is about. I like it. I've liked all the Bone Orchard Mythos stories so far, so I think it's off to a good, strong start. It does make me curious to keep going. Now, one interesting thing, I did find a very unique editing error. Now, I'm not the only one that has seen this error, but when I read this, it popped out just as big as day, and I'm surprised. Okay, here is the error. Okay, as you notice, we have a word bubble here. Okay, and it's part of this picture. Okay. Word bubbles are when a certain person is speaking. Now, when you read the language of this particular word bubble, it is quite obvious that the person talking is Trish, the author who has returned back to Hamilton, Canada. But usually when they do this thing, see the thought bubble goes into the next art panel, you see right here, this is Terry, the mom. Now, the way the thought bubble looks with the connection, that usually indicates it's the same person talking, but clearly it's not. On the top art panel, we have Trish talking, and in the follow-up panel, we have Terry talking. What they should have done is they should have moved that top thought bubble over a little bit and not appeared to make it connect. That's a strange editing error, but it's not enough to take away from the joy of the book. But I thought it was interesting enough to point out because comic books do have editors. Okay, in fact, this one here is someone by the name of Greg Lockhart, and Mr. Greg missed that one. So anyway, again, a good recommend. I like this for comic book fans. Obviously, if you like horror, Jeff Lemire is very good at it, and he's becoming quickly one of my go-to authors in the comic book and graphic novel field. So there you go, everyone. Thanks for tuning in, and remember, keep it between the ditches. Okay, everyone. Peace.